Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Half Brothers podcast. Again, I forgot, what number it is, but you should know because it's on the title of the video that you just clicked on to watch. My name is Jacob,
My name is Glenn.
and we are Half Brothers, as you can tell by the title of the podcast. We don't got anything super specific planned for you guys today. ChatGPT kind of planned the episode, I'm not gonna lie. But we're just gonna go ahead and get started with something that literally just happened. The SIRS, as I have learned that they're called sometimes.
They are called that sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, how did you not know that? You lived in
Oh, I
Indiana.
know.
Okay.
I was just looking at my face. I was making an alien-looking face in the camera.
But yeah, so the Indiana Pacers are up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals to the New York Knicks. So the Knicks are my second favorite team, so I'm not loving this, to be honest with you. But at the same time, Tyrese Halliburton is probably my favorite player in the NBA other than the GOAT, LeBron James. So I'm not super upset about it. But I would like to see the Knicks win a championship if it's not the Cavs.
I am very happy about this. The Pacers are my second favorite team, and I have good reason for that. As you know, I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana for 8 years after high school. And so I grew up in Akron, right? Rooted for the Cavs for 18 years. Well, I still root for them. They're still my number one, but I'm just saying, rooted for them alone for 18 years. Moved to Indianapolis. The Pacers were really bad when I first got there. Paul George was hurt, had some bad seasons. So I went to like 20 Pacers games my freshman year of college because tickets were $5 a game, pretty much. Now we were sitting in nosebleeds and whatnot, but we could move down pretty easily because they were so bad. And our college was in Anderson, and there's not much to do in Anderson under the age of 21. So, we would hop in the car and go up to Indy, hang out, go to Pacer games. It was a great time. Saw a lot of bad Pacer teams. So it's really cool to see Indiana doing well now. Now I live in New York City. So my third home, right? So someone texted me the other day. They were like, all your homes are playing each other in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Literally.
Cleveland, Indy, New York. But yeah, so the Knicks, look, if the Knicks do beat the Pacers, then I will probably root for them in the finals. Just because I think it would be cool to see the Knicks win a championship while I live here. But also, I do think it would be the end of New York City as we know it, because I think this city would burn to the ground.
When's the last time the Giants? That's the last championship?
The Giants were the last championship. Yeah, the Giants won the Super Bowl. Unless the Rangers won in hockey, but I don't pay enough attention, so I don't even know.
Yeah, it's not. Also, I don't feel like it's a big enough sport for New York.
I mean, it's pretty big here.
Is
the Rangers are the Rangers. Yeah, I mean, everything's big here, though. Soccer's big. I mean, you have like 13 million people, so everything's going to be big here, But I'm just curious, when did the Knicks become your second favorite team, and why?
I used to love the Knicks. I was a big Carmelo Anthony fan as a kid, so I used to love the Knicks because he started playing for him. So
yeah, that makes sense. That was a fun Knicks team. I mean, they were disappointing. They didn't. I don't know that they always sucked, but they always choked, right? Because they had Chauncey Billups at one point too, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Billups,
they had a lot of good players. They had J.R.
Smith, Melo,
Amari. They had a good team. They just couldn't get it done. I think they were the 2 seed a couple times and like never even made it past the second round of the playoffs. So
yeah, that's the thing. Because with them, it's like the excuse should have been, well, we would have gotten there if it wasn't for LeBron James, but they never even
had to play him.
They like never even had to play him in the playoffs.
I don't think they ever did, like, at all.
So that's yeah, there's that. Well, it's not looking good right now for them, and I'm loving seeing the Pacers just have this team of destiny right now. This like underdog of destiny that no one gave credit to. I mean, I knew when the Cavs played them, I said that's going to be a tougher matchup than people think.
Yeah,
I did not think that we were going to lose to them in 5 games.
I did not think it was going to be a tough matchup.
That's insane.
But I also don't pay much attention to basketball.
Sure. Yeah, I pay enough attention to where I knew, like, okay, they're going to be a sleeper team. I think they could maybe take us to 6 games. And I was wrong. They beat us in 5 games.
Yeah, it was tragic, dude.
Spanked us.
So I've been seeing a lot of stuff that the Cavs should trade for Giannis, and I'm feeling like it doesn't make a ton of sense to me because if you look at like what Donovan does best, it's drive to the bucket. So, like, I feel like you just got 2 of the players who did the exact same thing. Like, I feel like DG's more, hey, I can, shoot the ball, I can distribute, I can do other things rather than my main scoring ability is driving to the bucket. So, like, I feel like it makes them a significantly less versatile team. So, I don't know. Do you think? I mean, like it's Giannis. I understand it. Like he's still, one of the best players in the NBA. But at the same time, I'm like, that's what our number one guy does now.
Yeah, but if you look at if we're keeping Mitchell and we're getting rid of Garland, or I would say get rid of Garland and Allen to get Giannis. Because first off, Jared Allen, if you watch some of the tape of him in the playoffs, dude, he gives up on plays. He even said a couple years ago when we lost to the Knicks in the playoffs, he said the lights were too bright for us. Like he said that, and it looks like the lights are still too bright for him. So I would say if you can get Giannis and you can get rid of Allen, definitely go for it. I would be willing to give up Garland because Garland is inconsistent in the playoffs, and he's just not that dude. I just think when it comes to the regular season, he's amazing. He's flashy. He's everything. When it comes to the playoffs, he's not the guy we've needed him to be the last few seasons. I know he was hurt, so maybe I'm being a little too harsh on him. Maybe he would have been better if he's not hurt, right? But I just have not been overly impressed with him in the playoffs. In fact, it does seem like for him, the lights are too bright at times. So if you can get a Giannis who has a proven track record, who doesn't really get hurt late in the season, and who has won a title and is not soft and will not, give up on plays like Jared Allen, I would say go for it because Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, and Evan Mobley just keeps going up.
Yeah,
Evan Mobley is the secret
he,
weapon
he's a
that
dog
that was very consistent in the playoffs. He, I think, was the second best performer in the playoffs for the Cavs because he was getting boards,
without a
he was
doubt.
getting points, and he was facilitating down low because people were guarding him, and he was able to pass out, and that's why we're so good at the three because we had people like Evan Mobley, down near the bucket, and so. When you're able to attract defenders that way and it opens up the 3-point shot, that's great. And Giannis can also do that. So I would be all for it, but what I would really love is get Giannis and get LeBron. Or,
We can dream.
I mean, if you could forget Giannis for a second, if you just put LeBron James on this Cavs team, we're at least going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
Right? I
no
think we would
question
go
about it.
to the finals, but I mean, it just always feels like we're missing the LeBron piece, that LeBron shaped hole in our hearts in Cleveland, Ohio.
Literally, dude. Um,
So,
yeah. Sticking on Cleveland sports for a second, did you see that Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are going to be splitting the first team reps at Browns quarterback, and
yeah,
Shador and Joe Flacco will be splitting second team?
I did see that.
What are your thoughts? Are you excited to hear that Dylan Gabriel is, maybe being what he's cracked up to be, Kenny Pickett, even though he has the smallest hands in the NFL? Like, I don't know. I'm not optimistic. I'm
I
hoping that they think both these guys are really bad because the quarterbacks are going to be so good next year.
I think here's what I think. I think with Kenny Pickett, you have to give him first team reps because here's the thing: first team reps, you're going to get more reps usually, and obviously you're getting them with the starters. So Joe Flacco has nothing to prove. You already know like what Joe Flacco is and what he can bring, and you have that safety net. Like he doesn't have to prove much. Kenny Pickett still has to prove himself that he can be a starter, right?
Yeah.
That he can, he is auditioning to
He
show
can
that
put his hand on the football.
yeah, exactly. That he is a starting quarterback, that his hand can fit around a football, that he can make a throw, that he can lead an offense. And him going on the first team reps makes sense. Okay. Now, for Gabriel, it also makes sense because they drafted him before they drafted Shador, right? So they want to see, hey, this is the guy we picked this high on. We want to see how he does in this environment. So I think it makes sense for those two to go in that order to start. But it doesn't mean that that's how it's going to be, the following week or the week after that, or even next month, So I think it's good. Shador knew he was going to have an uphill battle, but I just have enough confidence in Shador Sanders and enough confidence in Kenny Pickett choking that eventually it will be Flacco the starter and then Gabriel and Shador really fighting for that backup spot. That's how I think it's going to go down. Now, if I'm wrong, then that's a good problem to have as a Browns fan. If I'm wrong because Kenny Pickett is just amazing and he's looking on fire, then I'm happy with that. Whoever's going to help us win, that's who I want. If it's Kenny Pickett, great. I don't think it is.
So what happens to Kenny Pickett? If like the scenario you're talking about plays out, Flacco's the starter, Dylan Gabriel and Shador battle it out for 2. What happens to Pickett? Do they let him go? I don't even know what they signed him for or anything.
Yeah, I mean, they traded for him, and so
So
they
he's
would
still on whatever
either
contract he would have been on.
Yeah, so I think I mean yeah they would probably trade. Look, at the end of the day, like you have four quarterbacks, you really have five on the roster, and apparently Deshaun has been very like he's been around every day, and they're all interacting, and it's like so I don't know. And the thing with Deshaun is he's not going to be healthy till the middle of the year. So like if Deshaun does get a shot, that's not a good sign because that means like someone is really failing. Um. So anyway, I think that regardless of what happens, like I think they might start the year with four quarterbacks on the roster. I do think that's possible. But at some point they're going to one of them is going to be looked at as a trading asset, right? Unless someone does really really bad. But
I
I
mean, so
mean,
it's
they
definitely
could
not Joe. Joe is definitely not getting traded.
no, you can't trade Joe. No one's going to trade for Joe.
Yeah.
I think Joe, you know, a lot of people say Kenny Pickett's the most likely to get cut. I think Joe would be the most likely to get cut because just because he, you know, we signed him on a very minimum contract. Like I mean, everyone knows what he is, and he has some moments where he's amazing. But Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, all still very young, right, and have a long way to go. So it's just like if you're gonna cut someone, like if it gets to that point, I think it would be Joe. I think the others would probably be traded or seen as assets. But
Yeah.
I just don't think Flacco's a tradable asset.
I don't think any of them. I think if you're talking about either Joe or Kenny, I think one of those guys can move. But I think Dylan Gabriel and Shador are. They're both staying. They're staying put this whole season. I don't think that the Browns would
Yeah.
move on them. I don't think that there's any reason to trade them or cut them or anything along those lines this year. Next year, who knows? But I think, Kenny and Joe, those are the ones that got something to prove. They're the ones that got, some skin in the game.
Yeah. Well, it's only May, and I can't believe that this has been on my mind every single day. But
I
it's
can't
May.
believe it's been on your mind every day.
It's May, and all I think about is football. And my team is not a team that I should be thinking about fondly. So
That
anyway,
sucks, dude.
we'll see what happens.
Um, Next thing, did you hear about WrestleMania next year?
Is it in New Orleans?
See, that's what you thought. And you
Okay.
thought that because The Rock came out at either Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber or something and said WrestleMania next year is going to be in New Orleans.
Did he say that?
He did. He did. He
Okay.
came out and cut a promo like 3 months ago.
Uh-huh.
Said that. Well, I don't know what happened, but the WrestleMania is no longer in New Orleans next year. I'm not entirely sure why. They haven't released all the details about it, but it's not in New Orleans. And they're doing Money in the Bank after SummerSlam next year because Money in the Bank is going to be in New Orleans
So
and not WrestleMania. And the big rumor about where WrestleMania is going to be, I'll let you take a guess. Not New Orleans.
it's in America?
It's in America.
Is it in the Midwest? Is it in the Northeast? Is it in the West Coast?
It's in the West Coast.
LA? Okay, this is my last guess. Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yep.
Again?
Again.
Why?
Talking about doing it in Vegas again. I
Why?
have no idea. That's my thing. When I saw that Vegas was the big rumor, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, this makes no sense at all. Like, I don't know if it's a money thing, maybe. Because I heard that it was really hard for them to sell tickets to the show, and I'm like, maybe it's because it was in Vegas. Maybe it's because nobody lives in Vegas. I don't know. It is very weird to me, everything that was.
Maybe.
And that literally just came out yesterday.
Maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be a big part of next year's WrestleMania. And he literally said that he doesn't leave Nevada anymore because he lives in Vegas. So he was like, if they're in Vegas, I'll do something with them. If not, it's very unlikely that I'll travel. And apparently there's rumors where he was demanding like extreme amounts of money for him to travel because they wanted to like bring him to the LA Raw or something like earlier in the year. And he was like, I will for this number. And he's purposely saying numbers that he knows they won't give him.
Yeah.
So
he
that
doesn't
he
want to
can
go.
so that he can say that I tried. You know what I mean? Which is also genius because imagine if it's like if they do give him $200 million for one night.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, I don't know. That's weird. That's
He's
crazy.
the Texas rattlesnake and he lives in Vegas.
Yeah, he does now. Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of backwards.
yeah, I know. But he grew up in Texas. He's from Texas, all that stuff. But Nevada's a great. I mean, a lot of people are moving to Vegas, especially like people that are like entertainers or retired entertainers or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like
I mean, Vegas is awesome. Vegas is awesome.
I've never been. I
You've
need to
never
go.
been?
No, I've never been.
Well, one of us have to get married one of these days and we'll have a bachelor party in Vegas.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Or we can just go and not and just do a
True.
guy's weekend in
True.
Vegas. You know.
Let's go for your birthday.
I'm actually down. We should actually look into that offline.
Okay.
Let's talk more about that. I was thinking Charleston because we got the homies down there. We can
Yeah.
maybe stay, but maybe Vegas. We'll look into it.
Speaking of Charleston, bro, did you see Moochie's story the other day on a Snapchat
I did not.
of him like grilling?
Oh, I did see that.
Dude,
Yeah, he
it
was
looked
grilling.
incredible, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Give
messaged
some
him and
context.
I was like, bro, why didn't you invite me? He was like, you gotta
Yeah,
come visit. And I was like, all right, bro. Like, I come visit, you better be chefing some shit up for me like that. I mean, stuff up for me like that.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Dang.
I did see him post that, and I like made a joke, and he was like, "Nah, man, that's not funny." I was like, "Oh, all right, my bad." I was talking about a side dish I was gonna bring for him. He didn't think it was funny, but anyway, anyway, man. Well, what's next? What's next in our headlines, bro? We're kind of just we're just filling you guys in today. Filling you guys in on some sports, filling you guys in on some pop culture, whatever comes to mind. This is the ADHD episode,
The
brought to
80.
you by Coffee. Drink me, and you go crazy.
Good. I'm glad you didn't try to throw in a fake sponsor there that I'd have to cut out.
I know. I just did. I just did coffee. Brought
Um,
brought to you by prescription drugs. We're bad for you.
ChatGPT put reality TV shows wild right now. And I'm a big reality TV competition fan, two shows in particular, Survivor and The Challenge. And Survivor just ended this week. Last episode of the season, it was probably the best season ever. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it was so good.
Best
The
season.
only disappointing part was I recorded on Hulu so I can skip through the commercials, and Hulu doesn't give you the option to like extend the recording at all or anything like that. And at the end of the episode, they'll give you like a sneak peek for next week's episode, and then they give you like the final farewell from the person that got voted out, and they show you the people and who they voted for. So like they show you all the votes so you know who voted for who. So there was one episode, like third, fourth, early on in the season, where I went and looked because it cuts out, doesn't show me who voted for who. So I went and looked to see who voted this person out, and I accidentally saw a Reddit post about, oh, so and so wins this season, and I was like, no, I didn't want to see that.
Ah, dude.
And it ended up being true, and I knew it was true the whole season because just like the way they edited everything. This dude got so much camera time. He got so many of his confessionals were aired. Like it was very obvious that he won the season. It might not have been so obvious had I not known, like had I not seen that post and be like, oh, I know he's winning. But once I saw that, it was like that glass shattering moment. Like I'm like, oh yeah, no, he's definitely winning. Like that post was definitely right. He definitely won this game. So that was a little disappointing that I knew who was winning the whole time. But he played an incredible game. Incredible game. He played so well. So like nowadays in Survivor, I call it the Russell Hantz effect for anybody who actually watches the show. There was this guy on the show, Russell Hantz. They used to give you clues for immunity idols. They don't do that anymore. You just got to find them because this dude was just on the island and just like, hey, that looks like a place they would hide an immunity idol, and found an immunity idol. And then he played like a real like strong arm bullying game. Like he was very demanding with people, like very threatening with people. Like, hey, if you do this, I'm gonna vote you out. I got this in my pocket, like, blah, 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 blah. And just, made all these like crazy moves and played this very like upfront in your face game. And it was very entertaining TV. But people didn't like the way that he played. He played 2 seasons. Oh no, he played 3 seasons. But he played 2 seasons back to back, and both seasons made it to the final three. Both seasons he lost. And then he came back like 2 or 3 seasons later, did another season, and in that season, his team was winning so much that they threw a challenge just so they could vote him out because they didn't want him to get into like the individual portion of the game. And then it was after that kind of moment. So before then, it was all about alliances, playing more of a stand-up game, being true to your word, not being flashy, making blindside votes, doing all that thing. And then after that, it was like everybody wants to see those things. They want you to play this crazy game. And this was like the first season in a long time where it was like, nah, we ain't doing that anymore. We're making alliances. We're sticking with our people. We're staying true to our word. And we're going to get to the end with the people that we've been riding with the whole game. There was a couple moments where there was like some blind sides and stuff, so you still had that excitement and being like, oh, what's gonna happen this episode? But for the most part, it was like, hey, we're staying true to it. So it was good to see. It was refreshing to see that there are still good-hearted people that go on the show and like they make friends, and they get to the end with those friends and they just play the game, or they try to win the game just based on like their merit and things like that. So it was a really good season. There was one moment in the season where So there was this girl on there that had I think is autism. She's on the spectrum a little bit. And what? Okay, she was on the spectrum a little bit. And
I thought that show was called Love on the Spectrum.
that is a show. But anyway, there's this girl on there. She was on the spectrum a little bit. She's a younger girl. And there was an older guy on there. He was a fireman. Absolutely yoked, bro. Like just beefcake, dude. Won 4 challenges. And they were paired up like the whole time. They were in alliance together the whole time. And there was one moment where they weren't on the same tribe. And she was the last person on her team to have to do something so her tribe would win. And she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. Starts freaking out, has like, you know, an episode, and then she finally figures it out, and as she figures it out, starts freaking out even more because like she's so excited and relieved that she was able to figure it out and get her team to win, and is freaking out so bad her team can't understand like what's going on. They're all hugging her in her face, doing all this stuff, and then the one dude comes over. So Jeff, the host of the show, actually tells Buddy, he's like, hey Joe, you want to go over there, because like he knows, he's seen all the confessionals, he sees everything that goes on. So he sends Joe over there. Joe gives her a hug, she calms down. Jeff actually starts crying. I've watched every single season of the show. He has never cried on the show ever. And he starts crying because just like this connection that they had, like he was like, if that was one of my daughters and one of my daughters was out here, like I would want somebody to do this for one of my daughters. So I'm going to do it for her. So those two actually made it to the end with this other dude named Kyle. Those two did not win because they played the same exact game. And that was the problem with those two. And they thought that they were both like the shoo-ins to win because they were like, oh yeah, we've been voting everybody out. We've been in the strong alliance, blah, 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 blah. And then Kyle's like, I actually want to sit next to them too because they have the same exact story. Either of them can win. They're going to split votes with each other. And he was right. He ended up winning because he sat next to them too. And he was true to his word for the most part. He was one of the ones that orchestrated this crazy blind side, made up a lie, and got one of their buddies voted out. But he was in the alliance with them. But yeah, it was an incredible season. But I bring that up because in that moment where the girl had the crash out, everybody online was going crazy at her, being like, this is so played out, you know, blah, 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 blah. You guys are trying to make something out of nothing, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, dude, let's take a chill pill. Like chick actually has something wrong with her.
Right.
She was actually going through something. I don't know. I thought of it as a very beautiful moment. They posted it, went to look at the comments to see if everybody agreed with me. Everybody did not agree with me.
Really?
And I was very disappointed by that.
Dang.
But yeah. Long walk for a short drink of water there. But yeah, I was very, very disappointed when I saw all the hate that moment was getting. Because genuinely, it was like one of the best moments I've ever seen in the show. And again, I watched every single season, and it was one of the best moments I've ever seen.
Dang. Well, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Have you ever watched the show?
No, but there were people when I came home on Wednesday, because that was also the night that the Pacers had that crazy comeback win for Game 1. I walked in my house and my roommate and a few of his friends were here and they were watching Survivor, right? That was this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Was it the finale or something?
It was this Wednesday, yep.
So I walked in, they were watching it. I had no idea what was going on. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to watch this game. So I ended up watching the game on my phone. But yeah, that's about all I know. I've never watched it. So everything you just said, I was like trying to follow it. I kind of understand it a little bit now, but I would still have to like see it and watch it, which I just don't want to do. Because there's so much TV out there right now, and I know that I would get addicted if I started watching all these shows.
So I mean,
I have to pace myself. It's one day a week, but if I've never watched it, so I would go back and watch all the seasons.
That's also fair. You know,
but maybe maybe I won't. Maybe next season I'll just like watch it with my roommates and just like.
So your roommates watch it?
One of them does, yeah.
Which one?
The new one that you've not met yet, but yeah, he's really into it.
Sounds like my kind of guy, dude.
No, you'll love him. Yeah, you will love him.
He likes wrestling. He watches Survivor.
He reminds me of someone that we like grew up with. Not anyone in particular. I'm just saying, like, it feels like he was around because he gets all the references I'm talking about and everything.
Did he grow up in the city?
He grew up in Atlanta.
Oh.
Well, he grew up in Atlanta. So
interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. You'll meet him. But no, I mean, yeah, I know it's a crazy good show. I remember back in the day there was a show called Survivor Man.
Yeah, there was.
You remember that?
I
That was just
remember
a
that.
guy and a camera,
Yeah.
right? He would like piss
Survivor
on
Man was
himself.
better than what was the other one?
Man vs. Wild.
Man vs. Wild. Survivor Man was better than Man vs. Wild
Yeah,
because Survivor Man was literally him going out there
it
with
was
a
just
camera
him.
recording it himself. Man vs.
Yeah.
Wild, he had a production team with him.
Yeah,
So
Man
if
vs. Wild was better quality, but Survivor Man was more real
yeah,
and like authentic and
yeah.
everything.
Have you
So
ever seen the meme for Man vs. Wild of him like
yeah,
walking across this like ravine type thing? He's like walking across this thing. He's like, you got to test the rocks that you're walking on because you could fall down into this
oh
ravine.
yeah,
And then somebody like shows the snippet of like him walking on there, and then they go and walk in that same spot, and then they like zoom out like towards like the desert-ish area somewhere, and you just see cars driving past. So he's like just out and about and like doing some hike on the side of the road.
yeah,
Like not even out like really in the wild, just
sure.
on the side of the road doing a hike. I thought it was so funny, dude.
Yeah, that is funny actually. I saw things of like the Man vs. Wild cameraman like point of view, and it was like just comedy sketch of like okay, and they like don't know what to do, and they're just like freaking out, and like they have a gun the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, man. Reality TV though, I don't watch a ton of it. I just think back in the day, like I used to watch The Ultimate Fighter, the UFC reality show, that type of competition. The Kimbo Slice one was amazing.
Yeah.
Even though Kimbo, they really used Kimbo as much as they could in that show, but he lost like the one match that he had in that
Yeah.
show.
That was
So
the
it
only
was,
season I ever watched.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I watched the few seasons before that and a few seasons after that, but that was the one that I really watched every single week. So I was like, Kimbo, Kimbo, Kimbo.
With
And then
Rampage and Rashad.
Rampage
Or no,
Jackson.
yeah,
Yep.
Rampage and Rashad
And
Evans.
Rashad Evans, yeah. And then it was like week 3, Kimbo was up and some big fat guy just laid on him.
Roy Nelson.
Yep, Big Country Nelson. It was the worst thing ever, but it happens.
That was a good season. I enjoyed watching that.
It's a great season.
They don't do it anymore, do they?
I don't even know.
I know that they brought it back for a little bit, and then they stopped doing it, and then they brought it back again. I don't know if it's still going or not.
I'm not sure. Yep, but that's it. I don't really have much on reality TV, to be honest with you. I've not watched a ton of it. To me, the most reality TV I watch is sports and WWE, which is half reality, half not.
It's all
but
reality.
it's real to me.
Everything
It's
is
real to me, dang it.
I don't care what The Rock says. Nothing is a work. It's all real.
By the way, you did send me something. I'll just say this real quick, where it said The Rock's involvement this year has been pointless.
Yeah. That was the thing about WrestleMania, because he came out and announced WrestleMania being in New Orleans next year, and it's not. And then he came out and did the thing with John Cena and Travis Scott, and then didn't show up at WrestleMania. So it's like everything he's done. It's like, what was the point, dude?
Is he gonna come back in at some point this year?
I don't think so. I think he's done. I think he's like done. I think there's room. There's always been this like fantasy match between him and Roman. And I think next year's the year that you have to do it or you can't do it.
Have to do it. Yeah.
Like, I don't think it makes sense after next
And
year.
that would
because
be his
Roman said he's
last
only going
one.
to do like 2 or 3 more years. So it's like you're really going to have Roman go out against The Rock. Like they're going to have that be his last feud where there's like no, I mean, there is some story there, but like I feel like Roman's last match has got to be against Seth. Like it's got to be him and Seth.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I do think that, I mean, it may be Roman's last match, but The Rock's last match can be against Roman.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You could do The Rock's last match against Roman, and then Roman has another year or two, whatever. Because I think The Rock has about, I mean, he looks incredible, but like realistically, like a body that's as old as his. Like,
yeah.
I think like he could do a couple tag team matches, he could do some things here and there, but like a real wrestling match, I would say one more.
And that's what I'm saying.
Really
like,
good one.
Gotta be soon.
Yeah.
Like if he wants to do a 20+ minute match, like it's gotta be soon, or else it's literally gonna be like nothing.
Yeah.
Like that's why honestly, like the Cena run has been so terrible, bro. He just can't keep up anymore. It's so obvious. Like,
yeah, it's really sad. It is. It's been tough.
have you seen the video of the spot where Randy tries to put him through the announce table?
What do you mean? I mean, I've seen it multiple times from different angles, but what?
So like Randy goes to put him through the announce table. The table doesn't
break, right?
And Randy then like goes and grabs him, and you can see because they're both hiding their faces from the camera. Cena's telling him to go put up another table.
Oh,
so that
really?
so that he can actually go through a table instead of just get slammed on one and not break and then them have to knock it down.
Okay.
So I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is cool. I thought Randy just did it on his own, but I didn't know they were talking about it right
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
Okay, that's pretty cool.
pretty much any time you see them do something like that, where like someone's going to pick somebody up and their heads are touching,
Yeah.
they're calling something.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm glad they did though, because it would have been kind of anticlimactic if that. I mean, when that table didn't break though, it like I heard it hurts worse
Yeah,
when it doesn't break. So
I
I was
mean
like,
for
oh,
sure.
I was like, Cena's back is gonna be so jacked
Yeah.
up, dude.
I also saw something that they're talking about doing a 6-man tag match at Money in the Bank with Cena, Travis Scott, and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes and the Usos.
That would be fun.
I don't
I think that
care.
could be a lot of fun actually for only because like you're getting a few more people. It's different than his one-on-ones have been lately. So it's like I think you should do as much with him as possible this year. But
Yeah, that's a
I
good
also
point.
think I just want Cody to take as much time off as possible
Me too.
and like not even come back. Honestly, I don't dude, the way that the fans just disrespected him, I'm still kind of pissed about. I was just like, and then even when Cena was like calling them out about it, he was like, "You see, this is what I'm talking about." When they were like booing him, I'm
Yeah,
like, I want it to get to a point where people miss Cody so bad.
I agree.
Like
I
he shouldn't
agree.
even come back to like Thanksgiving or something, and then just like, yeah, I don't know.
I agree. I fully agree with that. Like, let it get to the point where they miss you so bad. Um, I mean, like that match would be cool to see, but it's like you got 3 real full-time wrestlers versus 1 full-time wrestler in Logan Paul.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Cena really can't hang anymore. Like it's obvious with how slow his matches are. Travis Scott is not a wrestler, and then Logan
No, but
Paul's
that
the
would be
only
great to
like
just
real
see him
wrestler on that team.
get destroyed. Yeah, yeah. I don't
Probably,
know. I just think I think they should get creative and do as much as they can with it. And Money in the Bank is one where it's like it's that's the main the Money in the Bank is the main event there. So they would want to do something that's less for Cena to use Cena there. They'd probably want something to be less dramatic, but a little more fun maybe.
that's
And
true.
sometimes I mean, if you think back too, when it was like when Cena and DX would do stuff together and stuff like that was always kind of fun. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It like adds a new layer of drama and story. So it doesn't have to be. I mean, I don't. Yeah, Travis Scott. I don't know about that,
And
but
then who
like maybe.
knows? Both world champions in a tag team match on the night of Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank winner comes out, cashes in on one of them, probably Jay because Cena's a heel, so he's just gonna beat the crap out of Jay, help that person win. So it could be fun. It could be entertaining.
It would be, it would be crazy too if someone like cashed in the Money in the Bank and then lost immediately, like the person that wins the Money in the Bank, because usually they cash in and they win, right?
Yeah.
But if someone cashed it in and lost, and they're like, "Oh, you just wasted your Money in the Bank,"
So
that would kind of
that's
be
what happened to Drew a couple years ago. That's what they did with
Drew.
Drew
Wait, who?
McIntyre.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he won
See,
it,
yeah, I wasn't
cashed
even
it
in
in
it.
immediately, and then didn't win.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's already happened. Well, there goes my writing application for the WWE.
Just real
I will
quickly.
say,
You go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say that with Cody though, I like it. My love for him is growing the longer he's gone, and I just watched like a little mini YouTube documentary on his whole story and like the finish the story thing and everything, and it's like I didn't realize. I mean, I knew a little bit about his past, but I didn't realize how AEW started and how he was like an executive there
Oh, you didn't know
for
that?
a time. I did not know that. I knew he went there and got big there and was able to like be himself there and the character he wanted. I did not know he was like one of the founding
Yeah.
executives of it
So
though,
did it
which is
show you like the whole
insane.
thing about how it just
Yeah.
started from like some little indie event?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy.
I didn't realize so it is kind of insane that something he created he left
Yeah.
to come back. It's like
I mean, to be fair, like AEW, I used to like AEW pretty much when Cody was there. I watched AEW, but it's just not.
dude, there were times
They
though
just
where
don't tell enough.
people
They don't do enough storytelling. It's just wrestling.
Yeah. But there was a time, and maybe it was when Cody was there, where like, people, I think you were even one of them, but like Wesley, like other people that were watching wrestling still when I wasn't as much, they were like, oh, AEW is probably number one right now.
Yeah,
And
there
I
was a
think,
time for sure.
which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, WWE always ends up coming back. Like WCW was number one for a little bit, and then WWE, kind of took back over, and then it ended up acquiring WCW, right? But like,
Yeah, and the reason that like AEW was able to like kind of overtake WWE for a little bit was because it was towards Vince's end when he just kind of was not taking anybody's opinion and saying I know what's best, so we're gonna do exactly what I want to do all the time. and AEW was new and it had all these indie stars that everybody had heard of. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Cody was there. Penta and Ray Phoenix were there. They're both in the WWE now. The Good Brother, like they had all these like stars that everybody had known, everybody had heard of. John Moxley, Chris Jericho, like all these big names were getting to do something, and they were getting to do more creative stuff because they weren't as held down as like they were when they were working for someone like Vince,
Yeah.
or maybe they were able to do the creative stuff like the more indie guys, but to a bigger audience. So yeah, it was great. I used to love Kenny Omega, but now he's just such a WWE hater that I'm just like, bro, get a life, man. Like, do you know about Kenny Omega at all?
I don't.
So he tried out for WWE when he was a young lad, and then didn't go well. He really didn't like one of the trainers. He didn't like one of the trainers so much that he said, "I would never work for this company." It has runs on the indie scene, then goes to Japan. This was in New Japan for a long time, and becomes one of the biggest stars in New Japan. And then comes over here, starts AEW, and the thing I like the most about Kenny Omega is he has a real finisher. His move, the One Winged Angel, has
I'm gonna look it
never
up while you're talking.
it has
What's it called?
never been kicked out of. The One Winged Angel,
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega.
Okay.
The move has never been kicked out of, which is I love that. It's a finishing move. It is meant to finish the match.
Oh, I have seen this. Yeah.
Yeah, never been kicked out of. And at some point, someone's got to kick out of it, and they're gonna get the biggest pop of all time. But I love that nobody's.
Oh
ever
my
kicked out
gosh,
of it.
that's an insane move.
And like he doesn't do it every match, because it's supposed to be, this move that is, the ender. It's supposed to end the match. And now AEW's got all these super big other Japan/indie stars like Will Ospreay and Okada, but they just don't do enough storytelling.
Yeah, they got Edge right now.
Yeah, they got Edge too, and Christian.
But they can't even call him by Edge.
Yeah.
That's one thing I would love to see is, when Cena's like, I need more competition. And then you hear, you think you know me?
Yeah.
Go this day.
Have you ever heard
It's
of
not
the
going to happen.
MJF? You ever heard of him?
No.
He's over there as well.
Michael Jackson fans?
Yep, exactly. No, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. But he's over there as well. He's
Sounds like
so
a civil
good.
rights activist.
He
or
is
something.
my favorite in AEW. Very good at promos. Very good in ring. Doesn't have a finisher. He's like a Gunther type guy. Like doesn't have a finisher. Doesn't have a move that he does to seal the match. Just wins matches. But he's super good on the mic. So good on the mic. And he was doing this whole thing. They say like the best work is the stuff that's real, with that you can work a little bit, and he was doing this whole thing when his contract was coming up, and like constantly saying like, I'm gonna go to WWE, I'm creating the bidding war of 2024, and all this stuff. Like it was so good, and then he ends up signing back with AEW. He would have been so good in WWE. He would have been so good.
Well, it's good to have some competition there though, so that they don't.
And I think that's what made WWE so much better. I think they saw how good AEW was getting. This is what I really think happened. I think there was a little bit of a conspiracy, all right? I think Triple H, Shawn, all these guys backstage, they saw how good AEW was doing, and they said, we got to get Vince out of here. He is sinking the ship. We got to get him out of here. And they kind of leaked some stuff and did some dirty work and got him out of there so that they could take over the reins. Because now...
You think Paul would do that to his father-in-law?
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess he dated his boss's daughter, so he doesn't really care, does he?
Yeah, like I absolutely think that that's what happened. I think they leaked it. I think that came from within, and they got him out.
Could be. Who knows? Well, it's been a crazy year of wrestling, and we'll see how Saturday night's main event goes tonight, which I'm not super excited for, but it should be fun. How about this? I know you got to go soon, Jacob, and you're going to go golfing. So why don't we finish up by talking about your golf game? Talk about when you started, how it's going, and what your experience has been. Because if anyone listening here has tried golf and said, oh, golf looks fun, I'm going to try it. Well, that you don't really, that's not how it works. It's not very fun to try. You start trying and you're like, it's not working. And then you get very frustrated. It's a very humbling sport. It's a very frustrating sport, some might say. But how's your journey going in the golf world?
Honestly, like good, but not good. Like I'm not really making improvements, but I enjoy playing.
Exactly. That's the
Um,
mindset that needs to shift because you're not gonna get better. It just doesn't happen.
Perfect. But yeah, so I'm not really getting any better, but I enjoy playing. I enjoy going. I'm going twice today. This will be like my fifth or sixth time going this year already.
Why are you
Um,
going twice today? I don't understand. So how did that happen? Because
so
you said you're doing 9 holes at 1 and then 9 more holes at 5. Why not just do 18 holes at 1?
so for one, the course we're going to today at one only has 9 holes, so we can only do 9 holes. But for two, went to a cookout last weekend with my buddies. Was talking to some of my buddies, and we were talking about golf, and we're like, "Hey, let's go golfing next weekend." So we're like, all right, yeah, bet, let's go. So going golfing with them at one, and then going golfing later with some other buddies at five. The other buddies that I'm going with, we went once already, did a 2v2 scramble, and then we're kind of like, hey, let's just start going every Saturday, keep these same teams, make it a little like, see who wins more at the end of it. So first time we did 2v2 scramble, today we're doing 2v2 alternate shot. So I can't get carried as hard today. I actually have to contribute a little bit.
2v2 alternate shot. Explain that one.
So 2v2, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest with you. Like, alternate shot. Like, he takes a shot, wherever it goes, I've got to shoot from there.
It's like alternating
Yeah,
shots.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so it's like, so he'll tee off, you do the second drive,
Mm-hmm.
he'll do the third drive, and then it'll be your putt. Like, say if a
Yes.
par 4, and
Yes.
like that was like an ideal
Yes.
par 4. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, so like true alternate shot would be, even if I make the putt, I still drive on the next hole because he drove on the first hole. So I think that's how we're going to do it today. I'll have to talk to the boys, but I think that's how we're going to do it today. That way, so like, we can't get lucky and he does all the drives, and because my short game is not absolute dog water. My drives aren't great. My iron work has gotten a lot better ever since I started getting my hips into it. We actually went to
Nice.
Top Golf Wednesday, I think, and
Okay.
I was doing so much better, so much better. My drives still aren't great, but with the irons, I was actually like hitting it pretty straight, the same
Yeah.
distance like every time. So
Yeah, good.
that was
That's
nice.
great. Honestly, once you get your irons down, bro, that's the majority of the golf game. And
I was gonna say,
like just to like I even because you can also get away with playing just irons. Like even when Brandon and Ben and I went, like, or not Ben, but me and Brandon and his girl went one time. And just to be safe, I was like, I'm just going to play all irons so I'm not losing balls. And yeah, my drive is not going to be as further distance, but it was much more accurate and in play for me.
mm-hmm.
So it just like helps, but obviously you don't always want to do that. But like my drive, I mean, you saw it, bro. I'm not consistent at all. It slices right a lot. I hit a roof. You remember that roof I hit? Just smacked that thing.
No.
You didn't hear that?
Yeah.
I smacked that so
Yeah.
hard. We were like, I cranked it. It was a home run because I still have that
It was
power
actually
from
so
baseball.
funny. It was so funny.
We were like, where'd it go? And then we heard, it was amazing.
It was hilarious, dude. But yeah, I was watching Pat McAfee show this week, and he had Bubba Watson on, and Bubba was talking about, like, he was asking Bubba, he was like, how can I get better? Like, me and AJ have this 30-year bet that I got to qualify for like the senior open championship or something by then. And he was like, honestly, like, the thing nobody like tells you is like, you just got to work on 150 yards and in. Like, nobody works on their chipping and putting, but like that's what you need to be like dialed in at. Like, everyone wants to go to the driving range and just hit driver the whole time because they just want to pipe balls. But what you got to do is get good at the
Pause.
Thank you. Someone had to say it. But what you got to do is get good at the short game. And luckily, my short game is the best part of my game. I mean, it's still not good, but it's not as bad as the rest of it. And I did get my chipper, so hopefully that'll help out a little bit.
What is a chipper? Explain to the audience what a chipper is, because I'm still confused. I thought all you need is a pitching wedge, and there's different types of pitching wedges. But you have a chipper that's like half putter, half wedge?
Yeah. And that's really all I know about it, to be honest with you. I'm not that researched in the game. I watch a lot of like YouTube golfers, but I don't really know a ton about
What
golf.
made you get that? Because I don't know anyone that has that or uses that.
So I texted my buddy because I wanted to get some new wedges. So there's different kinds of wedges. So there's pitching wedge, sand wedge, gap wedge, and then other wedges that I don't know their names of. But like, it's all just like different degrees for different lofts. Sand wedge is like about the biggest degree that you get, although there's this new company coming out with a 69-degree wedge.
Nice.
And I guess it's actually like a pretty good club. But anyway, so sand wedge is about like the one that you're supposed to use when you're the closest to the green. And I was looking at wedges on Facebook, and I saw this guy that was selling them for $35 a piece, and I was like, yo, which one should I get? And he sends me the chipper. He's a avid golfer, goes all the time. He sends me the chipper. So I'm like, okay, let me take a look. And at first when he sends me, I'm like, bro, I don't want this freaking putter thing. Like I want a club. Like I want like a sand wedge or something, man. And then I look at it and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna get it. And then I look at some videos on YouTube and everyone's like, oh, this thing is a hack for being close to greens. Like if you are close to the green, this thing is an absolute hack. And I watched them play with it and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I'm getting it. So yeah, I got it. But yeah, it genuinely looks like a putter, like has the face club of a putter just with some loft. It's like 37 degrees and has like literally the back of a putter too. Like it really looks like a mallet putter, but just with some lofts. I used it a little bit at Topgolf. We played this game where you had to hit kind of close, so I was able to use it for that, and I did pretty decent with it. I was actually able to get some distance on it too. I was actually able to get it like out like 50 yards. My buddy that told me to get the club, he went with us to Topgolf and said that his brother uses it all the way up to about like 100 yards out. Like he said, if he's 100 yards out, he will still use his chipper. So we'll see how good I get with it. We'll see how good it does. Hopefully it helps me take a couple strokes off, but
Is it PGA legal?
I think so.
All right.
Because it like in some of the videos I saw on YouTube, it was like this club is fully legal. So
Okay. Well, yeah, in America, like just to have, it's not like a, semi-automatic, RPG or something. But
right.
yeah, I just would be curious because none of my golf friends have ever used one of those or said. So it's one of those things where it's like, maybe it's a niche thing or maybe it's a newer thing, or maybe it's one of those things where if you take it on the golf course with the wrong people, they'll be like,
What are you
look at
doing?
this freaking guy.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, that's illegal, dude. We're going to call the PGA cops.
Like-
Bunch of narcs. Well, dude, good luck, man. I hope your games go well. Keep us posted with the stat line. And then maybe later this summer, when we're both still not good at golf, we can do a nice little golf log for the Half Brothers channel.
That'd be awesome, dude.
We'll show how bad we are, how good some of our friends are, and how beautiful the courses are in good old Northeast Ohio.
Aha.
Aha.
That's how they say it here.
Well, any closing thoughts you have for our wonderful fan base of millions and millions of people across the Southeast Asian region?
Man, you really threw me off there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. What if I just imagine like one day we're gonna be discovered in like a very particular part of the world for whatever reason, and it's not going to be America.
Hey, man, that'd be awesome.
Like, what if it's like the bottom of South America?
Let's go tour there if that's what the case.
If they're like, oh, we love the Half Brothers podcast.
We're going and touring there.
That's the only English sentence they know.
Then how would they love the Half Brothers podcast? All right, anyway.
It doesn't even matter, bro. It doesn't even matter. That's the gift of the spirit. That's speaking in tongues.
Hey.
They can understand what we're saying.
Just by our body language. But yeah, closing thoughts for the people. Nothing. Honestly, nothing, man.
Nothing at all. All I'll say is
read your Bible.
Read your Bible. Read something. I mean, I haven't read much lately. Audiobooks are good too. You can do audio Bible. You can do audio dictionary. You can do audio whatever it is that you need. Dictionary is a good one. I haven't gotten too far in that one
There's
yet.
some fire stories in the dictionary.
Yeah,
man.
I'm on like page 4. There's like so much stuff there, but. Anyway, this has been fun. Work on your golf game. You're not going to get better. It doesn't matter. Cody Rhodes will come back and destroy Don Cena. Shedeur Sanders will start for the for the Cleveland Browns. Don Cena is John's half brother, actually.
Oh, I forgot about him.
The half Cena pod, yeah. Alrighty, Jacob, I love you, brother. God bless you. Our fans, which is, what's turning on and blowing air on me right now. Have a nice day. Keep smiling. Until next time, this has been the Half Brothers Podcast. I'm Glenn.
I'm Glenn. Just kidding. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Glenn.
And
Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.